So today, my name is Nino, and today I'm going over the basics on how to take care of my two pet guinea pigs here. For the sake of the video, I've already put them in a separate cage to where they're isolated and safe while I take care of their cage. Just more or less just for the safety of them and me, and for the sake of the video, trying to hassle them out might have been a little bit too long. But essentially, after you've removed them already, go ahead and start to remove various components of the cages that you need to refill and clean, such as like their water bottles here, along with litter pans in which I've trained them to use to make it a little bit easier for me when I go to clean up. And also gives you a good chance to be able to view kind of their eating habits, to see how well they're eating, what they're eating more of, such as their food and pellet diets and their food bowl versus the hay that they primarily eat, to see where they might try to be relying on minerals. Next step, what I would try to do is, after removing their food, their pellet food, would be to remove any of their mineral blocks that they might need, that they might eat, as well as any toys. There's a bunch of those. And their huts as well. And I chose to make this cage a little bit more custom than their traditional cages that you'd buy in like PetSmart, Petco, other places like that. Essentially what I did is I just took two wired cages, and combined them, and then I took the bottom of the actual cage off to make it a little bit easier, a little bit better for them, so they'd have more room. And then another big thing is to remove their hay bin feeders as well. So that way you can get those out of the way. And essentially, after everything's removed to the cage, you can pick up the whole cage itself, shake it off a little bit to get any of the debris, set that aside. And I tend to usually like to wash that and rinse it off in the shower, just to make sure it's sterilized for them. But showing that might have been a little bit too difficult. As well as picking up this main blanket here that basically encompasses all of the hay, the feces, any of the stuff that I'd need to clean up. Set that aside to dispose of later. And then just pick up any other bedding that they might have, that they used and soiled. I like to use a couple different towels to set on the ground. So that way it absorbs any kind of feces or water or anything they might eat. And then I throw a nice big blanket on top to just kind of catch all the hay to make it a little bit easier. But essentially, what I would do at this point is I would go ahead and run a big vacuum through to suck up all the extra little miscellaneous things, and then lay down all of their new blanketry to make sure that their cage is all set up. I can't go into everything in a 5 to 7 minute video because it takes quite longer than that to go through everything, but we'll try our best. Right now I'm just laying down the towels that they can sit on and use as kind of like an underbedding. Then lay down their bigger blanket to accompany for catching all of the overall mess they make. And then once you get it all laid out and all set up, you can go ahead and grab the big main cage. I just try to center it the best that I can on top of it. But it doesn't have to be perfect because they'll end up making a mess of it anyway. And then you start by setting their huts back. Set their food bins back. Right now they have enough food, so I don't have to refill that right now. Replace their mineral blocks so they have the essentials that they need. Replace their water bottles. I like to take a little blanket and throw it over the back for them. So that way it prevents them from getting cold at night. Reinstall their hay feeders for them. And then since I cleaned their litter pans only a day or two ago, they're still pretty fresh. Trust me, they still do make a mess of it though. Replace those. And then we'll replenish the hay. Their water bottles are all filled up, so the last step is just essentially filling their hay feeders again. Because hay is their primary diet. It's what they'll eat all day, every day. And then we just add back in the guinea pigs. This one's here is Rosie. Put her back in her side of the cage. Oh, come here. And this one is Leah. Put her back in her side. Close it up. And they're all set for another week. Thank you.